The pregnancy test hit the marble floor of the penthouse bathroom and shattered, just like my marriage. Negative. Again. My husband Derek's voice was ice. 5 years, Rachel. 5 years of this. I stared at the broken pieces, each one reflecting back my failure. My hands trembled as I knelt to clean them up. Don't. His Italian loafer kicked the fragments away. The maid will get it. That's what I pay people for. Unlike you, who can't seem to do the one thing nature designed women to do. Before I continue, tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing your locations. Now, back to the story. I should have seen it coming. The way Derek had stopped touching me. The way his mother, Patricia, looked at me with barely concealed contempt at family dinners. But nothing could have prepared me for what happened next. I want a divorce, Derek said, straightening his tie in the mirror like he was discussing a business merger. My attorney will contact you tomorrow. You signed a prenup, so don't get any ideas. You'll leave with exactly what you came with, nothing. Derek, please. We can try IVF again. Dr. Morrison said. Dr. Morrison is a quack who's been bleeding us dry for 2 years. He whirled around, his handsome face twisted with rage. Face it, Rachel. You're defective. And I'm not wasting my prime years on someone who can't give me an heir. My chest tightened, but I forced myself not to cry in front of him. You have until Friday to clear out, Derek continued, checking his Rolex. Mother's already found someone suitable. Jennifer Hastings, you met her at the charity gala. Stanford educated, and most importantly, her medical records check out. My stomach lurched. You've been planning this. The whole time we were trying, you were already planning for contingencies. It's called being smart, Rachel. Something you might understand if you'd finished college instead of dropping out to marry me. I'd been a sophomore at UT Austin when I met Derek at a wedding. He'd swept me off my feet with promises of a perfect life. I'd left school to become Mrs. Derek Thornton. Now I was just another discarded asset. Friday came too fast. I packed my clothes into 2 suitcases. My old Honda Civic was loaded to the brim. I had $3,847 in my personal checking account. No degree, no job, no home. I was 32 years old, and I had nothing. Where will you go? Mariella, the housekeeper, asked as I dragged my last suitcase down the curved staircase. My sister's in Phoenix. I'll figure something out. She pressed $500 in cash into my hand. You were always kind to me. I hugged her, fighting tears. Thank you, Mariella. I'll pay you back, I promise. I was loading the trunk when a black Mercedes SUV pulled up behind my car. My heart sank, expecting another of Derek's lawyers. Instead, a tall man in an impeccably tailored charcoal suit stepped out. He was maybe 40, with silver threading through his dark hair and the kind of presence that made you straighten your posture instinctively. Rachel Thornton? His voice was deep, cultured. It's Rachel Hayes now, I guess. I slammed the trunk closed. Look, if Derek sent you. Derek Thornton is a fool, the man said calmly. And I'm not here on his behalf. My name is Julian Sawyer. I have a proposition for you. Julian Sawyer. The name clicked immediately. Sawyer Tech, Billionaire, Forbes list, medical devices. What on earth was he doing in Derek's driveway? I'm listening, I said cautiously. Not here. Come with me. There's someone who needs to meet you. Every instinct screamed danger. Stranger. Billionaire. Too good to be true. But what did I have to lose? The Mercedes was like a living room on wheels. Julian sat across from me, his steel-gray eyes assessing but not unkind. You're wondering if this is real or if I'm a very elaborate serial killer, he said with a slight smile. The thought crossed my mind. Fair. Let me explain. 3 years ago, my sister was in a car accident. She survived, but she can't have children. Something she desperately wants. She's been considering surrogacy, but every agency has disappointed her. My heart began to pound. You want me to be a surrogate? I want you to meet her. Let her decide. He leaned forward. And before you ask, I know about your situation because my assistant is thorough. I learned Derek was divorcing you this week, and I learned why. I also learned that despite years of trying, Every doctor has said there's nothing medically wrong with you. He paused, and something in his expression shifted. The problem was always with Derek. I felt like I'd been punched. What? Derek Thornton had a severe case of mumps when he was 19. It's in his medical records. Mumps in adult males can cause sterility. He's likely been infertile the entire time, but rather than admit it, he blamed you. Every lie, every insult, every night I cried alone. It all crashed over me at once. That bastard, I whispered. Indeed. Which brings me to my offer. Be a surrogate for my sister. Carry her child. Conceived through IVF with her eggs and her husband's sperm. In exchange, I'll pay you $2 million. $1 million upfront, $1 million upon successful delivery. Couldn't breathe. $2 million. Life-changing money. Freedom. Why me? I managed to ask. Because you're not in this for the wrong reasons. You've wanted a child yourself. You understand what that longing feels like. And honestly, because Derek Thornton threw you away like garbage, and I'd like to see you rise so far above him that he chokes on his regret. Julian's sister, Olivia, was nothing like Patricia Thornton. She met me at a cafe in downtown Austin the next day, no mansion, no power plays. Just a warm woman in her late 30s with kind eyes and hands that twisted nervously in her lap. Thank you for meeting me, she said. Julian probably scared you half to death. He was intense. She laughed. That's my brother. But his heart is in the right place. She showed me photos on her phone. Her husband David was a pediatric surgeon, grinning in pictures with tiny patients. Their home was cozy, filled with books and a golden retriever. We've tried everything, Olivia said softly. After the accident, we finally accepted that my body just can't do this anymore. But we have so much love to give. We have a nursery ready. We have names picked out. Eleanor for a girl, James for a boy. Her voice cracked, and I found myself reaching across the table to squeeze her hand. I know what it feels like, I said, to want something so badly that every negative test feels like a death. Then you understand. Rachel, you'd live in the guest house on our property. Completely private, your own space. The best medical care money can buy. And afterward, if you want to be part of the child's life in some way, we can discuss it. I thought about my empty checking account, my sister's cramped apartment in Phoenix, the humiliation of Derek's betrayal, and I thought about giving someone else the miracle I'd been denied. I'll do it, I said. The next 6 weeks were a whirlwind. Medical evaluations, psychological screenings, legal contracts, hormone treatments to prepare my body for the embryo transfer. I moved into the guest house on Olivia and David's property in the hill country outside Austin. It was a dream, stone and glass, overlooking a valley of live oaks. Derek called once. I blocked his number. His mother called. I blocked hers too. The embryo transfer happened on a Tuesday in March. I lay there in the clinic, Olivia holding my hand, both of us holding our breath. 2 weeks later, the test came back positive. Olivia cried. David cried. Even Julian, stoic Julian, had to clear his throat and turn away. And I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Purpose. The pregnancy was textbook perfect. Every appointment, Olivia was there, respectful, grateful, never overstepping. She'd bring me weird cravings at 2 in the morning. We'd watch terrible reality TV together. She became my friend. Family. That's what we became. At 5 months, we learned it was a girl. Eleanor. Ellie. I felt her kick for the first time while sitting on the porch watching the sunset. That flutter. That undeniable presence of life. I put my hand on my stomach and whispered, "Your mama is going to love you so much." And I knew Olivia would. But here's the thing nobody tells you about surrogacy. Your body doesn't know it's just the vessel. Your hormones don't read contracts. By month 7, I was in love with the baby growing inside me. I didn't tell anyone. How could I? I'd signed papers, taken money. This wasn't my child. But God, she felt like mine. I was 8 months pregnant when everything changed. I woke at 3 in the morning to raised voices. Julian's car in the driveway. Olivia crying. I waddled down the path to the main house, my heart racing. What's wrong? Is it David? Olivia looked up, mascara streaming down her face. David sat beside her, pale as death. Julian stood by the window, his face drained of color. His hands were shaking. Julian Sawyer never shook. There's been a complication, he said. With the baby? I just had a checkup yesterday. Not with Eleanor. With the DNA test. I froze. What DNA test? Standard protocol, Julian said. We run genetic screening to check for abnormalities. The results came back today. He turned to face me, and I'd never seen him look so shaken. Rachel, the baby you're carrying isn't Olivia's. The world tilted. That's impossible. I was there for the transfer. I saw the embryos. There was a mix-up at the clinic. A catastrophic error. Julian's voice was carefully controlled. The embryos they transferred, one was Olivia and David's. The other was from another couple's batch that was stored incorrectly. Which one took? I whispered. Silence. The other couple's. Eleanor isn't genetically related to Olivia or David. Olivia let out a sob. David pulled her close, his own eyes red. My hand went protectively to my stomach. Then whose? The clinic is investigating. But Rachel, legally, this changes everything. You signed a contract for Olivia's biological child. This baby is neither Olivia's nor yours genetically. The biological parents could have legal claim, or you might, or this could end up in court for years. No. The word came out fierce, primal. No. Olivia has been this baby's mother for 8 months. She's painted the nursery. She's read to her. She's loved her. I don't care whose DNA she has. She's Olivia's daughter. The biological parents are being contacted, Julian said quietly. We'll know more in a few days. And that's when everything got worse. The biological parents were found. Amanda and Robert Chen, a couple from Houston. They'd also been using the fertility clinic. Their embryos had been accidentally swapped with Olivia's, which meant somewhere, Amanda Chen was 8 months pregnant with Olivia and David's biological child. The clinic's lawyers descended like vultures. Liability, lawsuits, settlements, and 2 families shattered. I met Amanda and Robert at the attorney's office. She was tiny, with a belly as round as mine. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. I don't know what to do, she said. I've been talking to this baby for months. I felt her kick. But she's not mine. Yes, she is, I said firmly. DNA doesn't make a mother. Love does. But the truth was far worse than I imagined. The lawyers wanted to swap the babies at birth. Simply trade them like merchandise. 2 families forced to give up the children they bonded with for 8 months. Absolutely not, Olivia said, her voice steel. I won't do that to Eleanor. I won't do that to Amanda's baby. There has to be another way. The solution, when it came, was radical. The families agreed to meet. Really meet. Not through lawyers but as people. And slowly, impossibly, a plan formed. Amanda and Robert would raise Olivia's biological daughter. Olivia and David would raise Amanda's. But, and this was the revolutionary part, they'd do it together. 2 families, bound by an impossible mistake, choosing to create something new. Joint custody. Houses 10 minutes apart. Holidays together. 2 girls who'd grow up as sisters. Knowing the truth. Surrounded by love. And you, Olivia said to me on a warm April evening, a month before my due date. You're part of this family too. If you want to be. I looked at this woman who'd become my sister, my friend. At David, who'd taught me to play poker during the pregnancy. At Julian, who'd saved me from my lowest moment. At the baby moving inside me, who I'd carry for 1 more month and love for a lifetime. I want to be, I said. Eleanor Hastian Sawyer was born on May 15th at 6:47 a.m. 8 pounds, 3 ounces of perfection. Olivia cut the cord, tears streaming down her face. I held Ellie for an hour, memorizing her face, and then I placed her in Olivia's arms. Take good care of my girl, I whispered. Our girl, Olivia corrected. She's always going to be our girl. 2 weeks later, Amanda Chun gave birth to Sophia. The girls were christened together, 2 families merged by fate. I moved into my own apartment, purchased with the money Julian paid me, every cent. I enrolled in online classes to finish my degree. I started a small graphic design business. And every Sunday, I had dinner with the Sawyers and the Chens. I watched Ellie and Sophia grow. I was Auntie Rachel, the woman who'd carried Ellie, the woman who'd helped create their impossible family. Derek sent a message through his lawyer 6 months after the divorce was finalized. He wanted to reconnect, now that he'd learned his new wife Jennifer was also having fertility issues. I sent back one word. No. Jennifer left him 3 months later. 1 year after Eleanor's birth, Julian invited me to dinner at his downtown penthouse. We'd become close friends. He was my business advisor, my mentor, and occasionally, my partner in crime for practical jokes on David. I have something to tell you, he said over wine on his terrace, the Austin skyline glittering below. You're moving to Mars? Finally pursuing your dream of becoming a professional juggler. He laughed. That rare, genuine laugh I'd learned to treasure. I'm in love with you. I nearly dropped my glass. Julian. I know. It's complicated. You've been through hell. But Rachel, this year watching you transform, watching you bloom into this incredible woman, I've fallen completely in love with you. And I had to tell you, you don't have to feel the same way. I just needed you to know. I looked at this man who'd appeared in my driveway on the worst day of my life and offered me a future, who'd stood by me through every complication, every fear, every triumph. Julian Sawyer, I said slowly, are you telling me that you orchestrated this entire thing because you had a crush on me? What? No. Olivia really did need a surrogate, and you really were the perfect candidate, and... He stopped, seeing my smile. You're messing with me. I'm messing with you. I set down my wine glass and took his hand. And for the record, I'm falling in love with you too. Have been for months. I just didn't think a billionaire tech genius would be interested in a broke, divorced surrogate mother. Former surrogate mother, he corrected. Current graphic design entrepreneur, family member, and the woman I can't stop thinking about. Julian stepped closer, his hand brushing mine. Hesitant, like he was afraid I'd pull away. He kissed me then, soft and sweet, and Austin sparkled below us like a promise. 2 years later, the wedding was small. Just family, our beautifully complicated, perfectly imperfect family. Olivia was my matron of honor. Eleanor and Sophia were flower girls, dropping petals everywhere except down the aisle, making everyone laugh. Derek sent a gift. I returned it unopened. Jennifer Hastings sent a card. You dodged a bullet. Congratulations on everything. I actually kept that one. My sister flew in from Phoenix with my nephew. Mariella, the housekeeper, sat in the front row, beaming. The Chens brought homemade dumplings because David had mentioned I loved them. As Julian and I danced to our first song, I looked around at the faces of the people I loved. At Ellie and Sophia chasing each other through the garden. At Olivia and Amanda laughing like old friends. At David and Robert debating surgical techniques in the corner. What are you thinking? Julian murmured against my hair. That Derek throwing me out was the best thing that ever happened to me. He pulled back to look at me, his eyes warm. Funny. I was just thinking that I need to send him a thank you card. Don't you dare. Wouldn't dream of it. I'm too busy planning our future. Did I mention I'd like kids? Maybe 3 or 4. I laughed, full and free. 1 step at a time, Mr. Sawyer. Mrs. Sawyer, he corrected. And for the first time in my life, my name felt exactly right. If you're still watching right now, you're exactly the kind of viewer I love. Subscribe so I can keep giving you stories that touch your heart. Hit that bell so you never miss what happens next.